so we are cycle breakers, and we choose to break this cycle of mistrust in self and mistrust in God and mistrust in life. And we come home to the fact that we are divine beings. We have the power. We have the truth. We have the love. We just need to find the tools that allow us to remember this. Hello and welcome to Sync and Flow, the podcast with me, your host, Josie Thorne. I am a Red Tent Women's Circle facilitator, a womb healer, and feminine empowerment coach. I have been guiding women to embody their true essence through womb activations and feminine embodiment practices. I started Sync and Flow to help educate and connect women back to the wisdom of their sacred womb space and cyclical nature. I want to help all women reawaken to the true power of the feminine that lives deep within them, so that they may cultivate a relationship to self that is rooted in pure trust, divine love, and a deeply intuitive connection to the body. Thank you for being here and taking the time to listen to this podcast episode. I hope you enjoy. My love, if there is one thing that is for certain that I know about you, it is that you are a cycle breaker. Just like me, we are cycle breakers. We are breakers and destroyers of the generational imprisonment of our power, the generational shackling of our pleasure. We break that shit down. We destroy the barriers and illusions of separation that keep us disconnected, that keep us enslaved to the capitalistic agenda of I am not enough and therefore I need external products, external things, external resources, and materialism to prove that I am enough, to prove that I am worthy. We break down those barriers, we break down those walls, and we say enough is enough. I am done. I am done feeling like I am not enough, just as I am, just for all that I am, right here, right now, without the need to do better, without the need to try harder, without the need to be someone else other than who I am right here, right now. Because you and I know that we are all deserving of love just as we are. Because we are not broken and we do not need to be fixed. And so as cycle breakers, we say enough is enough. I choose to love myself just as I am right here, right now. I choose to accept myself just as I am right here, right now. As imperfectly perfect as I am. All the flaws and all. Just as I am right now, I deserve love. You can just give yourself a hug and repeat that to yourself. Just as I am right here, right now, I deserve love. Just as I am right here, right now, I deserve love. Just as I am right here, right now, I deserve love. How beautiful and powerful is that? I can just breathe into that, knowing that there is nothing you need to do, that there is nothing you need to be, that there is nothing you need to say or do or feel or change into to be worthy of love, to be worthy of acceptance, to be worthy of inclusion, to be worthy of education, to be worthy of growth, fulfillment, safety. And so we have to have a very curious mind as a cycle breaker. We have to be aware that we grew up in a broken world. We had mentors who were not in alignment with their truth, with their power, with their love. We did not have enough women to look up to. We did not have that. We did not have enough women to look up to that were fully in their truth, that were fully in their power, that were fully in their embodied sovereignty. Women that worked hard enough on their own to heal the wounds of unworthiness within themselves. We did not have, unfortunately, enough women who were capable of doing that for themselves. And so we grew up with very toxic examples of the masculine and feminine. And this is the truth, is the very sad reality that we have not had enough powerful women and powerful men in their embodied truth, in their embodied masculine, in their embodied feminine energies to show us the way when we were growing up. We did not have that. And so we had to become those people. We had to become that living embodiment through the deep, dark shadow work, through looking at our pain, through looking at our patterns, through looking at our negative beliefs and mindsets. We had to pick apart who we thought we were so that we could separate the pain and the generational trauma from who we were and who we are at a core soul level. We have to do that. And it is an ever ongoing process. We have to pick apart the construct from the soul, from the energy, the patriarchy, the programming, the construct, the brainwashing that society and our parents placed on us from who we are at a human core soul level. And that is a very difficult task. It is by no means easy. That task takes many years of separating and learning to discern, developing your spiritual discernment, a muscle, a mental intelligence muscle, a bodily intelligence muscle that tells you on a mental, emotional, intuitive level, where's this pattern coming from? Where's this belief system coming from? Is it mine? Is it truly mine? Or was it created within me when I felt unsafe as a child? And so I had to develop this belief system. I had to take on board this pattern of behavior, of reaction, of avoidance, of anxiousness. And most of the time you will see that parts of who you thought you were, pieces of your personality that you thought was just who you were, was actually a part of self that was created as a reaction to not feeling safe enough, as a response, as a trauma response to not having agency, to not having control, to not having love, to not having safety, to not having nourishment and nurture in the environments in which we grew up, in the environments in which we learned, in school systems, in family systems, in sibling dynamics, in friendship dynamics, in family dynamics, in societal dynamics, right? All of these different dynamics that impact us as we grow up. We are not separate from those dynamics. We are those dynamics, and those dynamics are us. And so we have to develop a deep self-awareness and go to therapy and do the necessary shadow work, answering these journal questions, these deep questions about who am I? Where do these belief systems come from? How did they get inside of me? And how am I perpetuating them? How am I allowing these belief systems and narratives and stories that I tell myself to become real through the way in which I take them on, through the way in which I make them my own? Is it who you are? Is it yours, or is it just a story you tell yourself? And the mind tells itself stories all the time. And so this is why doing this work is part of healing your relationship to abundance. It's part of healing your reality. It's part of manifestation work. It's part of healing your money trauma. It's part of healing your relationship to your emotions, to your mental health, to your your understanding of the feminine and of the masculine, right? It's all interwoven. Our parents and the society around us, the schooling systems, they taught us to have a lack mindset. It's taught us to be fearful from the very beginning. It taught us that there is always something after us, that there is always something that we need to be afraid of, that there is never enough. Right? There's never enough love, money, safety, nurture, nourishment, food, resources for us all. And so we have to be in competition. And so we have to compete and fight for our need to be loved, for our need to be taken seriously, for our need to be seen, to be acknowledged, to be held, to be provided for. And so it is up to us to look at, how do I perpetuate this wound of scarcity? How do I perpetuate this wound of not enough? Always asking yourself, is this decision from fear or is it from love? Where is this decision coming from? From the need to protect myself or from the need to expand, to grow, to find out more beyond the construct? Being curious with your mind, with the way in which you act, with the way in which you speak, with the way in which you react. Okay, the deeper you go on this journey, the more you start to see that the parts of yourself that you thought were you, 80% of it is a trauma response. The need for this love, this safety, this security, this abundance, this whatever it is, nurture, nourishment, holding, this need to seek it externally because we have not been taught how to nourish it internally, because we have been separated from our divine power, truth, love, from our God-given essence, from this connection, this holy connection to Mother Earth and Father Sky, to the gods and the goddesses, to nature, to the very fabric of this existence. We are not separate. We are one. We are whole. And in order to break the spells, remember, words are spells. The way you speak to yourself, the thoughts that you think, the things that you allow yourself to believe, the stories that you hold about yourself and others, those are spells that you are casting to create and manifest your reality. If you think you do not have enough, you will not have enough. Then you will manifest experiences that will prove you right. Because the job of the brain is to prove its own truth. And so unfortunately, you will seek out situations that confirm your own negative belief systems and your own negative biases. It is just how this reality works. We live in a mirror universe. Whatever you believe and whatever you feel on the inside will manifest and magnetize on the outside. Okay? And so the only way to change your reality is to choose a new belief system. It can be as simple as that, but it is not that easy. It is hard and it is deep, and the roots of these belief systems and this fear are buried so deep. It is so deep in your subconscious. And that's why we must always be detectives of our own minds. We must always look for the things that we tell ourselves and question our own belief systems. Not everything you believe is true. Not everything you say is true. Not everything you witness is true. Truth feels like love, feels like softness, feels like gentleness, feels like expansion. Pain, lies, and suffering is contraction, is anxiousness, is closing, is tightening. So look out for these sensations in your body when you connect with others, when you speak, when you have a thought, when you feel the effects of a belief, and feel into your body and notice, what does this bring up? Because your body is coded for love and for truth. Your body knows the way. Your body knows what is real. So feel into it. Don't try to figure it out with the mind. Feel into it, okay? Another thing that we have to be so careful of when we are cycle breakers, and that is having as little tolerance for our own bullshit as we have for the bullshit of others. We need to have solid boundaries with ourselves, and we need to honor those boundaries. You need to journal about what your boundaries are. You need to journal about what you will and will not accept from yourself, and those boundaries will help to inform the boundaries that you have with others. You need to be so clear and be living in integrity with your truth, with your alignments. The more you live in alignment with your own truth and your own boundaries, the more self-trust you build, the more capacity to trust yourself, to love yourself, to honor yourself, to know yourself. To know that you can relax, that you can surrender, that you can trust, that you can invest. Because you have yourself and you trust yourself. And you know on a deep somatic level that God has you and God trusts you and you trust God. And as long as your relationship between yourself with yourself and yourself with God is in flow and in trust and empowered, then that is all you need to make a decision. That is all you need to move forward. That is all you need as a confirmation. Ask for the signs. Ask for the confirmation. We hold the codes of generational trauma in our bodies, but at the same time we hold the codes of the generational wisdom and the generational power. And so we need to pull apart the systems, pull apart the roots, pull out the weeds, go do some weeding in your own garden and pull out what no longer needs to be there, what is dead, what is dry, what is ugly, what is causing obstruction. Pull out those weeds of the old belief systems. They are not yours to hold no longer. They are not yours. And it is safe to let them go. It is safe to let go of your fear, of your anxiety, of your lack of trust. It is time to surrender. It is time to soften. It is time to trust yourself again and learn to trust God. As cycle breakers, we are breaking spells. We are breaking the spell, the illusion, the Maya, the construct, the ego. And we are learning to rebuild our ego and recreate our ego from a place of divine love and divine power and divine truth. From a place of deep trust between us and the universe, between us and God, because we have all felt abandoned by God in our past, through our trauma, through the pain and the suffering that we have gone through. We have felt abandoned by God, and that is the truth. We have felt abandoned by our mothers, our fathers, by the earth herself, by the cosmos, by the universe, by God. We have felt that abandonment in moments of deep pain and deep trauma and deep suffering. And it is okay to admit that. It is okay. We are all there. We have all experienced that. That is the collective wound that we are all subconsciously processing at such a deep level. We have felt abandoned because we have been segregated away from connection with the divine, with divine natural law and order, with the cyclical layers and flows and ebbs of life. And so we are cycle breakers, and we choose to break this cycle of mistrust in self and mistrust in God and mistrust in life. And we come home to the fact that we are divine beings. We have the power. We have the truth. We have the love. We just need to find the tools that allow us to remember this, that allow us to activate into this power, activate into this truth, activate into this remembrance. This is a remembrance. And that's why there's nothing you need to do to come home to this truth other than just be in connection to your deepest self, to your heart, to your womb, to your body, to your truth, and to your love. We are cycle breakers, and we choose to have no more tolerance for bullshit. No more tolerance for disrespect. No more tolerance for a lack of love. No more tolerance for greed and cheating and lying, for raping and pillaging and sacrificing and martyrdom, and for sucking dry of resources and energy and time and money. We have no more time for that, no more tolerance for that. And so at the same time, we are healing this deep wound of colonization. These are the wounds that the colonizer inflicted onto this earth because he was so broken and destroyed from the inside out, so devastated, so separated from God, from truth, from love, that he thought the only way he could receive this love was by raping and pillaging and just desiccating the body of the feminine, the body of the earth, the body of woman, the body of this world, the resources, the land, the water, the fire, the air, the animals, the trees, the plants, the nature, everything. Because none of it belongs to us. We are merely sharers, custodians, community members of this massive ecosystem, of this massive earthly system. And so we are healing deep, deep generational wounds. We are healing deep, deep generational wounds. And we need to have the courage to look inside, to look at how we perpetuate these wounds in our own lives, these wounds within our own bodies. How do we sacrifice ourselves? How do we martyr ourselves? How do we suck our body dry of nutrients and energy and resources and love? How do we extract from ourselves, from the people around us? Always trying to gain transactional relationships. You give me this, I give you this. No, that is not the way of love. The way of love is open and freely giving, because love is abundance and abundance is love. And there is always enough. There is always enough for everyone. And so we have to be so curious and compassionate in the ways in which we perpetuate these wounds within our own being, in our relationship that we have to our own bodies. How are you still pushing yourself? How are you still extracting energy from yourself, staying up late, pushing harder, working, go, hustle. I have to make money. I have to do this. I have to get this. Otherwise, it won't be enough. I won't be protected. I won't be supported. No one will look after me. What will happen to me? I am unsafe. You are not trusting, my sister. You are not in flow. You are not in divine love when you are coming from this energy. Enough is enough. There is only so much that you can do. There's only so much that you can do. And the rest you have to give up to a higher power. Whatever that is to you. The body, the mind, God, the heart, the womb, the universe, the goddess, nature, Mother Nature, the earth, Sky Daddy, Shakti, Kundalini, whatever you want to call it, this higher power that is guiding us. If we are not living in a way that creates this co-creative relationship between us and this higher power, we are constantly going to be living in lack. We are constantly going to be repeating the trauma response of not enough, the trauma response of I do not have, the trauma response of I need to prove myself. I need to prove myself in order to get love. I need to work myself to the grave in order to be safe. And so can you, with compassion, love, curiosity and inquiry, look at yourself, do the shadow work, look in the mirror. How am I repeating these patterns? How am I reflecting the fear that was programmed into me? How am I perpetuating this lack of abundance, this lack of love, this fearful scarcity mindset? How am I choosing to believe in so little? How am I choosing to not trust God, choosing to not trust myself, choosing to not trust love, to not trust the divine? All the ways in which I am doing that, let me look at those. How is this reaction that I am having right now to this experience a reflection of the way in which my mother used to react to me? is a reflection in the way in which my mother taught me how to handle money, in which the way that my father taught me not to trust the masculine, in the ways in which the girls in high school made me feel unsafe and inadequate and not pretty enough, and therefore reinforced the belief system that I am not enough as I am right here, right now. How is the ways in which I am reacting to my partner a reflection of the ways in which my mom used to micromanage me? How am I perpetuating the wounds of my lineage and my family through the ways in which I am reacting and acting, through the lack of love and trust that I have in a higher power, through the lack and trust that I have in myself, through the lack and trust that I have in money, in abundance? Okay, what are the stories I am telling myself, and how can I choose to change those stories? Unravel, deprogram, unlearn, unfuck yourself. Look at the stories you tell yourself. Unfuck the fear, unfuck the shame, unfuck the programming, unfuck the greed and the lack of trust, and choose to repattern, choose to relearn, choose to reprogram yourself. Choose new belief systems just like that, and repeat them to yourself often. Say your affirmations, write them down, put them on post-it notes, on your mirror, on your wall, on your bathroom, where you can see them regularly, and remind yourself of what are the new stories I am choosing to tell myself from this moment forward. I am safe, I am worthy, I am capable, I can do it, I have the wisdom, I have the strength, I have the power, I have the confidence, I have the voice. Energy goes where attention flows. Every time I invest in myself, I seed a sacred intention. God loves me. God works with me. God works through me. Every time I pay to invest in myself, I am exponentially growing into more love, power, gratitude, abundance. Look where you spend your money. Look how you spend your money. Look into what is the energy in your body when you spend your money. What are the stories you're telling yourself when you spend your money? Unravel the stories, unravel the programs, and constantly ask yourself, constantly check in with yourself, constantly be aware of what are the thoughts I am telling myself? What are the stories I'm telling myself? Is the story serving me? Is the story serving my inevitable growth into love, power, truth, trust? Or is it seeding more fear, more contraction, more smallness into my being? And in the end, choose love. Choose to work with love. Choose to work with trust. And your life will open up. Your life will expand. Every single time you make a decision from love, from trust, from truth, by listening to your intuition, you make truth and love more important than fear. And you code it into your nervous system that it is safe to trust in love. It is safe to trust in truth. It is safe to trust my intuition. My intuition is always right. Your intuition is always right. It could never be wrong. Never, 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 never. But you need to learn how to listen, and you need to learn how to pull apart the voice of fear and the voice of intuition. Remember, it is all in the body. It is all coming from the sensations. So watch the sensations in your body when you connect, when you make love, when you make a payment, when you receive money, when you receive compliments, when you connect with others, when you're at a party, when you talk about yourself. Watch the sensations in your body. And if they are love, melt into it, open into it. And if it is fear, learn to breathe through it, learn to hold yourself, learn to regulate through it, learn to remind yourself this is just a response from trauma, from fear, from an old pattern, from an old mind program, brain fuckery. Even though I feel this fear and this contraction inside me, I choose to exhale into love. I choose to breathe into love. I choose to trust into love. I choose to repeat that I am worthy, that I am whole, that I am safe, that I am sacred, that my emotions are holy, and that I deserve love, that I deserve trust, that I deserve all that is made for me, that I deserve all the abundance in the world, that there is always enough. Choose to affirm it, and it will become true. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this episode and engage with all the wisdom that was shared. If you enjoyed this podcast, please remember to leave a review on your podcast platform of choice, as this really helps this wisdom reach new people. If you have any questions or queries, please feel free to reach out to me via Instagram DM or send me an email. You can follow me on my personal account on Instagram at Josie, Josie _Thorne, THORNE, or you can follow Sync and Flow, my business accounts, at Sync, that's spelled SYNC _in_flow. Please feel free to reach out with any questions or queries you may have. Otherwise, get in contact to book a free discovery call to start your self-healing spiritual journey today. I look forward to hearing from you, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now, loves.